B&B spoilers, Ridge pulls a second coup with Carter after Eric refuses to retire? The Bold and the Beautiful, B&B, spoilers show that Ridge Forrester's, Torsten K., unwelcome retirement talk rubs his dad Eric Forrester, John McCook, the wrong way. Spoilers hint that Ridge refuses to back down, even though he should know better after having been through this with Eric before. Apparently Ridge is a slow learner, not just in the love department but in his professional life as well. Will Eric and Ridge have a falling out? Oddly enough, the show has already visited this storyline. It happened back Eric thought he was dying, and Ridge pushed him to leave FC and enjoy what little he had left of life. This led to some bad blood, and a father-son fashion designer showdown. After Ridge learned about Eric's diagnosis, he let Eric think that he had one. Rather than feel diminished, Eric said it was maybe the nicest thing anyone had ever done for him. Then, Eric's coveted stapler was returned to its rightful owner, and all was well. Until now. Eric and Ridge go to war again? How much does Ridge want that legacy stapler? Apparently, a lot. Eric made a full recovery and is loving life with his honey bear, Donna Logan Forrester, Jennifer Garais. Eric is the one who founded FC, and yet during the week of December 1st to 5th, Ridge once again tells Eric to get on the retirement train. Pushy Ridge urges Eric to play golf and whatever else he does in his downtime, but Eric pushes back. Eric does not want to retire. Eric almost died and now feels empowered to live his life to the fullest. This does not include his whiny kid telling him what to do. Eric has a second chance to cement his legacy, which should be especially poignant given the coup launched by Hope Logan, Annika Noel, and Carter Walton, Lawrence St. Victor. But Ridge sees it differently, and may even secretly want to be top dog now that he's back with Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang. Should Eric retire? Juicy The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers indicate that Eric and Ridge's back and forth escalates to a dangerous level, possibly endangering Forrester creations all over again. Do you think that Eric should be forced to retire? The world of high fashion is no stranger to drama, but nothing prepared viewers of The Bold and the Beautiful for the heartbreaking and toxic turn the Forrester family saga has taken this week. What was meant to be a loving, heartfelt gesture, a surprise retirement party for the patriarch, Eric Forrester, has detonated into a full-scale corporate and family civil war. The emotional fallout, which will have lasting, devastating consequences for Forrester Creations, centers on the clash of two unyielding wills, Eric's fierce insistence on his creative legacy and Ridge's desperate, controlling need to protect his father's health, even if it means destroying his spirit. The latest whispers from the Forrester Creations halls point to an unthinkable betrayal, a second coup d'etat orchestrated by Ridge, who seems ready to use any means, and any ally, to enforce his vision for his father's future. The most shocking element? The potential involvement of Carter Walton, the chief operating officer, a man whose loyalty has always been complex, but who is now being eyed as the critical piece in Ridge's ruthless plan to wrest control from Eric for good. This is not just a disagreement, this is a tragic power grab that risks turning the company's foundation into dust and breaking the heart of its beloved founder. The retirement party disaster, the spark that ignited the feud. The tragedy began with a deception wrapped in good intentions. Ridge Forrester, along with Brooke, Steffi, and Finn, decided that the recent health scare and Eric's renewed, intense passion for designing, which has left him exhausted and frail, meant it was time for him to step aside. They saw retirement not as a loss, but as a lifeline. So, they staged a lavish, surprise retirement celebration in the CEO's office. But for Eric Forrester, designing is not a job, it is his identity. It is the air he breathes, the legacy he built with Stephanie, and the very thing that makes him feel alive. The moment he walked into that room, saw the happy retirement banner, and heard his loved ones tell him it was time for the master to rest, his world shattered. His son, Ridge, believing he was acting out of love, declared that the decision had been made. Eric's refusal was immediate, thunderous, and heartbreaking. "I will not be put out to pasture. I will define my own legacy, and I will be designing until my dying day," he roared, his voice thick with a pain that resonated with every viewer. This wasn't a graceful refusal, it was a declaration of war. Eric views his son's actions as a callous attempt to erase him, to diminish his life's work and steal his last remaining source of passion. The immediate family members, Brooke, Steffi, and Finn, were stunned. They thought they were caring for a frail man. They now realize they are fighting the spirit of the founder himself. The party, intended as a moment of respect and transition, became a monument to familial disrespect and a permanent crack in the Forrester Foundation. Carter Walton, the pivot point for Ridge's dark plan. The most concerning piece of this escalating feud is the alleged role of Carter Walton. Carter is Forrester Creations' chief operating officer, a lawyer whose professional life is inextricably linked to the company's legal structure, particularly the complex LLC documents that govern ownership and management. He is a man who was once Ridge's friend, but who has also previously proven that he will fight for what he believes is right, even if it means alienating the Forresters, as seen in a prior storyline where he briefly took over the company. The spoilers suggest that Ridge, having failed in his public, emotional attempt to force Eric into retirement, will now resort to corporate maneuvering. This is where Carter comes in. Ridge needs a legal path, a corporate coup, to permanently remove Eric from any operational or creative authority. The theory of the second coup. The speculation is running rampant that Ridge will leverage Carter's legal expertise and position to enact a power shift. But how? Exploiting the legal structure, Ridge may argue that Eric's health issues, which have been the central point of contention, render him legally or structurally unfit to lead. He will need Carter to interpret or utilize existing company bylaws, or even draft new ones, to trigger an involuntary retirement or a vote of no confidence. The promise of power. It's possible Ridge offers Carter a significant, permanent slice of power, perhaps the co-CEO title, or a larger equity stake, to secure his cooperation. Carter has always valued his place in the Forrester world, and a guaranteed position of power might be too tempting to resist, especially if Ridge can convince him it's for Eric's own good. The moral crossroads. The tragedy here lies in Carter's likely internal conflict. He respects Eric immensely. Earlier this week, when Daphne Rose expressed her discomfort with the forced retirement, Carter echoed the sentiment, noting Eric's legacy. If he aligns with Ridge, he will be betraying one of his greatest mentors. This potential betrayal is the sad news that will truly resonate with viewers, the loss of integrity in the face of corporate ambition. If Ridge secures Carter's aid, the coup will bypass Eric's emotional refusal. It will become a cold, legal fact that even the founder cannot fight. The tragedy here lies in Carter's likely internal conflict. He respects Eric immensely. Earlier this week, when Daphne Rose expressed her discomfort with the forced retirement, Carter echoed the sentiment, noting Eric's legacy. If he aligns with Ridge, he will be betraying one of his greatest mentors. This potential betrayal is the sad news that will truly resonate with viewers, the loss of integrity in the face of corporate ambition. If Ridge secures Carter's aid, the coup will bypass Eric's emotional refusal. It will become a cold, legal fact that even the founder cannot fight. This is a far more brutal attack than the surprise party, as it uses the very fabric of the company Eric built to tear him down. The emotional and corporate fallout. The repercussions of this escalating conflict promise to be devastating, reaching every corner of the fashion house and every member of the family. A house divided, the line in the sand. The family will be forced to take sides, splintering the dynasty. Team Ridge, Brooke, Steffi, and Finn. Their motivation is not greed, but fear. They genuinely believe they are saving Eric's life, even if it means sacrificing his happiness. Their actions are born of love, making their side of the conflict tragically complex and sympathetic. Ridge's belief is that Eric will die if he doesn't stop, turning his father's rejection into a terrible sacrifice he must make. Team Eric, Donna Logan, and likely anyone who remembers Eric's true worth and creative genius. Donna, in particular, will become Eric's fierce protector, standing by her husband's side and defending his right to create. This will place her directly against her own sister, Brooke, and Ridge, leading to massive friction in the bridge marriage. The unaligned, Zend and Katie, both close to the company, will be caught in the middle. Zend, as a designer, will naturally respect Eric's creative passion, while Katie has a strong connection to Carter and is likely to see the corporate reality of the situation, adding more complexity to her relationship dynamics. The threat to Forrester Creations' soul. The core of this fight is not just about a man retiring, it's about the soul of Forrester Creations. Eric's current line is his final burst of creative genius, inspired by his near-death experience and a profound desire to leave a legacy. If Ridge and Carter legally force him out, they are not just removing the man, they are killing the collection. They are choosing corporate safety over creative risk, a move that could forever taint the reputation of the fashion house. The lost designs, the world may never see Eric's final, passionate designs. This represents the death of his legacy in real time. The morale crisis, employees and designers who respect Eric will feel that the company has become a cold, corporate machine. The spirit of the creative house, a place built on family, passion, and artistic freedom, will be deeply damaged. The heartbreak of a father's final fight. The ultimate tragedy is centered on Eric Forrester himself. This is a man who has given his entire life to his family and his company. He is facing the end of his life, and his only wish is to spend his remaining time doing the one thing that brings him joy, designing. Ridge's protection is, in Eric's eyes, a form of emotional suffocation. It is a denial of his final, most fundamental need. His son's insistence that he rest sounds like a death sentence. The emotional depth of this storyline comes from the fact that both father and son are acting out of love, but their definitions of love are tragically incompatible. Ridge sees, "I love you, so you must stop working to live." Eric feels, "I love my work, and you are trying to make me stop living." The second coup, executed with the cold efficiency of legal documents and the help of a former ally like Carter, will be the final, crushing blow. It will confirm to Eric that his own son values his longevity more than his dignity. The potential scene of Eric being served with papers, his own COO betraying him, and his son standing by with a look of stern resolve, is an image of pure, unadulterated soap opera heartbreak that will leave the audience reeling. The saddest news of the day is that in a desperate bid to save a life, the Forrester family is about to lose its heart and soul. The corporate throne is about to be seized, but the victory will feel like a devastating loss. The looming aftermath. As the family prepares for the inevitable fallout, the Forrester versus Forrester, the final fashion war, the question remains, will Ridge truly win? A victory for Ridge is a loss for the family's cohesion and for Eric's spirit. A man's legacy is defined by his final acts, and for Eric, his final act is to create. By preventing it, Ridge may prolong his father's life for a short while, but he will have effectively ended the life Eric truly wished to live. The sad news is less about the corporate takeover and more about the final, tragic rupture between a father and son who are too blind with their own versions of love to see the other's pain. The moral crossroads, the tragedy here lies in Carter's likely internal conflict. He respects Eric immensely. Earlier this week, when Daphne Rose expressed her discomfort with the forced retirement, Carter echoed the sentiment, noting Eric's legacy. If he aligns with Ridge, he will be betraying. The heartbreak of a father's final fight. The ultimate tragedy is centered on Eric Forrester himself. This is a man who has given his entire life to his family and his company. He is facing the end of his life, and his only wish is to spend his remaining time doing the one thing that brings him joy, designing. Ridge's protection is, in Eric's eyes, a form of emotional suffocation. It is a denial of his final, most fundamental need. His son's insistence that he rest sounds like a death sentence. The emotional depth of this storyline comes from the fact that both father and son are acting out of love, but their definitions of love are tragically incompatible. Ridge sees, "I love you, so you must stop working to live." Eric feels, "I love my work, and you are trying to make me stop living." The second coup, executed with the cold efficiency of legal documents and the help of a former ally like Carter, will be the final, crushing blow. It will confirm to Eric that his own son values his longevity more than his dignity. The potential scene of Eric being served with papers, his own COO betraying him, and his son standing by with a look of stern resolve, is an image of pure, unadulterated soap opera heartbreak that will leave the audience reeling. The saddest news of the day is that in a desperate bid to save a life, the Forrester family is about to lose its heart and soul. The corporate throne is about to be seized, but the victory will feel like a devastating loss. The looming aftermath. As the family prepares for the inevitable fallout, the Forrester versus Forrester, the final fashion war, the question remains, will Ridge truly win? A victory for Ridge is a loss for the family's cohesion and for Eric's spirit. A man's legacy is defined by his final acts, and for Eric, his final act is to create. By preventing it, Ridge may prolong his father's life for a short while, but he will have effectively ended the life Eric truly wished to live. The sad news is less about the corporate takeover and more about the final, tragic rupture between a father and son who are too blind with their own versions of love to see the other's pain. Inside the elegant, sun-drenched offices of Forrester Creations has never been colder. Today, the world of the bold and the beautiful is reeling from news that promises to be one of the most painful in the show's history. Eric Forrester and Ridge Forrester are heading for a catastrophic, legacy-threatening falling out. This is not a petty squabble over a woman or a design sketch. This is a fundamental, soul-crushing clash over the very essence of Eric's life and identity, a conflict that threatens to tear the Forrester family apart at its most vulnerable moment. The tension has been building for weeks, but the surprise retirement party orchestrated by Ridge and Brooke has detonated an emotional bomb, leaving viewers devastated by the prospect of this beloved father-son bond being irreparably broken. The spark that ignited the inferno, retirement. The heart of this devastating confrontation lies in a single word that, to Eric, feels like a death sentence: retirement. For the patriarch of the Forrester clan, the founder of the global fashion empire, Forrester Creations is not just a company, it is his legacy, his passion, his very purpose. After a recent, life-threatening health crisis that nearly claimed his life, Eric has found a renewed, fierce vitality in his craft. He has been sketching, dreaming, and pouring his soul into a new couture collection, a vibrant testament to his enduring genius. But Ridge, fueled by a mixture of genuine paternal concern and, perhaps, a subconscious desire for complete control, sees things differently. He looks at his father and sees a fragile, elderly man who needs rest, peace, and a graceful exit. His intentions are ostensibly rooted in love, a desire to protect Eric from the relentless, high-stress demands of the fashion world that nearly killed him. "It's time, Dad," Ridge pleaded, his voice thick with a mix of care and finality. "You've earned your rest. We've got it covered. I just want you to live." To Eric, however, these words are a profound betrayal. They don't sound like love. They sound like dismissal, disrespect, and an attempt to erase his contribution. "You want me to live," Eric thundered back, his voice shaking the crystal on the credenza, "but you want me to stop living. My life is here. The designs, the silks, the thread, it is in my blood. You are trying to put me out to pasture, Ridge, and I won't let you." The disaster of the surprise party. The full-blown emotional carnage unfolded during the now infamous surprise retirement party. Planned in secret by Ridge and Brooke, and supported by a conflicted Steffi and an uncomfortable Finn, the event was intended as a celebratory transition. Instead, it became a stage for a public, humiliating confrontation. The banner, the champagne, the speeches meant to honor Eric's past only served to amplify his feeling of being sidelined in the present. When Eric walked in, led by a worried but supportive Donna, his confusion quickly morphed into white-hot fury. Ridge's attempt to sell the idea, "It is time for the master to rest," he said, trying to be gentle but sounding condescending, was the final, unforgivable insult. Eric's rejection was immediate, absolute, and heartbreaking. He stood before his entire family and declared, with the unwavering authority of the company's founder, that the decision to retire was his alone, and he was refusing it. This was an act of defiance, a desperate stand against the son who, he felt, was trying to snatch his dignity and his identity away. The stunned silence that followed was 1,000 times louder than any argument. In that moment, the division in the Forrester family became clear for all to see. Loyalty lines are drawn, the coming power struggle. The fallout from this emotional explosion will be anything but contained. It is no longer a private father-son disagreement, it is a full-scale corporate and family feud. The question now is not if they will have a falling out, but how deeply and tragically it will escalate. Donna's loyalty, Eric's wife, Donna Logan, has stood firmly by her husband, understanding that his passion is essential to his health, not a threat to it. Her support directly opposes Ridge and Brooke's position, potentially creating a new rift between the Logan sisters. The Forrester/Logan divide, Brooke, naturally, sides with her husband, Ridge, believing his intentions are pure and his concerns about Eric's health are valid. This positions Ridge, Brooke, and a conflicted Steffi against Eric, Donna, and perhaps other family members like Katie, who is already feeling undervalued at Forrester Creations. The threat of a rival house, the ultimate, most terrifying possibility for Forrester Creations is that Eric's anger and sense of betrayal will lead him to walk away and launch a rival fashion house. Eric still has a powerful network, and with the financial backing of a scorned ally like Bill Spencer, who already has his own agenda against Ridge, the classic fashion wars could reignite, but this time with a truly tragic, personal edge. The sight of Eric competing against the very company he built, run by his own son, would be the deepest cut of all. The sad truth of love and ego. This storyline is so deeply sad because the conflict is not driven by malice, but by a catastrophic misunderstanding rooted in love and ego. Ridge's perspective: Ridge genuinely fears losing his father. His desperate actions stem from a trauma-driven protective instinct, a conviction that his way, forcing rest, is the only path to Eric's longevity. But his ego, the need to prove that he can successfully run the company without his father's presence, blinds him to Eric's emotional needs and the respect he is due. Eric's perspective: Eric is fighting for his life's meaning. To an artist, the creation process is lifeblood. Being told he is too old or too weak to create is a direct assault on his soul. He sees Ridge's actions not as protection, but as a callous attempt to seize the reins and diminish his legacy. The man who gave Ridge everything is now being told he has nothing left to give. Today's sad news is the confirmation that this monumental misunderstanding has pushed these two great men past the point of no return. The dramatic power struggle is officially underway. The foundation of Forrester Creations' family is cracking under the weight of this agonizing feud. Will the Forresters survive this latest, most personal war, or will Eric and Ridge's profound falling out permanently scar the family tree? The fashion world waits, holding its breath, as a true patriarch prepares to fight for his life's work against the son he loves most.